What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Collecting and Hobbies. And today we are going to do another Lightning Collection action figure review. We're going to review two of them, one from Wave 2, the new ones, and one from Wave 1. And these are all the open figures that I've got so far. And for the longest time, like in April, I opened him, and all these guys have just been opening in the last week or two. So let's go ahead and move on to the actual figures that we're going to review. Oh, and by the way, I did finally pick up another Lord Zedd. This one I got from Amazon. Damaged packaging, got a couple bucks off, so that way I could review it. And he will be reviewed with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Pink Ranger. Today we're going to be reviewing the brand new Beast Morphers DEVON for the Red Ranger. And here's the packaging. Looks good. I love the packaging of these. These look really nice, actually. And the backgrounds look pretty good. This one, it's kind of bland, it's gray and white. But the other guy over there, the Defender guy, Magna Defender, is pretty colorful actually on the inside. And we're also going to be doing another review over probably the most popular Ranger ever, Tommy, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the White Ranger. And he was also the Green Ranger at one point. So I got two of these, and one of them had a little bit of blue dots on his face. I don't know where they came from. I guess it came from that effect or something. But with a little bit of just rubbing my thumb on it, and my nail, I got it right off. But you don't want to do it too bad if you do end up getting that. This is actually the second time I shot this review, because the first one I was getting a little bit too long already. So as you can see, I'm kind of cheating a little bit. There's the other one. And as you can tell with his head, I've got all that blue stuff off. And this is a really good face sculpt too. People, it's a little bit different than the SH Figure Arts because he's got a ponytail. The SH Figure Arts has his hair down, just long and down. There you go. That's good. There you go. Now it's actually focusing. That looks like him, and that's good lighting. But if you do get a little bit of extra blue on his face like I did, be careful with it. Don't scratch it too much. Don't get too hard with it, because if you do, the face printing technology, that kind of face paint can come off pretty easily. So, and also when you're pulling him out of the package, be careful because his head is in there really, really tight, and you don't want to yank off his ponytail because technically it's like a separate piece glued in. But if you do, I guess you could probably glue it back. So we're going to go ahead and start with this guy, I guess, since we already got him there. And let me move these other figures out of the way so we can start with Tommy, the White Ranger, since I already ripped him open. And alright, here we go. So here's his effects piece and the sword. Obviously, you just stick the sword into the effects piece. Comes on and off. He's got some nice silver paint on his blade. There's some gold. There's quite a bit of gold on this, actually. And there's, I don't know what the name of this is. I forget. Maybe Simba or whatever. I don't know. Maybe that's from Lion King. I have no idea where I came up with that. But some people complain, I guess, because it's not painted gold on this side. that little part right there where my thumb is. And it is painted on this side. And another problem, another thing, he only comes with 5 accessories, but all the rest of them come with 6, I think. Except for, let's see, I think Lord Zed comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as well. But when this is on his, in his, holster in a sheath or whatever, this part shouldn't be out. It should not be the full blade. It should be retracted in. So a lot of people complain about that, but it does fit perfectly. Well, actually, it's a little bit loose, but yeah, it goes in there. And as you can see, I've been messing around with articulation here to see how good his double jointed elbows were, and they are pretty good. They get almost not 180, but more than 45, almost 180, especially on this side. And yeah, so he's got some really great articulation. I'm not having any issues with this one so far, but I haven't actually posed him around in every pose yet. He does have butterfly joints, and he's very similar to the Red Ranger that I just also had sitting out here a minute ago, and he can go up pretty good. It's not as good as the Red Ranger because this hinders a lot. It really gets in the way of a lot of things. And as far as paint goes, there's like 2 spots right there. See those black stripes? Obviously those aren't supposed to be there. And at least not that I know of. Nope, not on the other one. So some people are saying that this is a big, heavy remold of the Red Ranger. From this part all the way to his feet, it looks almost exactly alike, except they added some extra wrinkles, and obviously the top of his boot cut right here. These got these bracers or whatever they call them, and but other than that, the Red Ranger looks exactly the same. He's even got the lines on the front of the boots, those thick, heavy lines in the middle of his shins. But so obviously, I think the feet, the feet are, a little bit different. Wait, no, they're not. Well, I don't know, but his feet don't look as big. The Red Ranger seems to have thinner feet. The Red Ranger, and also on the back, there's more line work in this area on his calves, top of his calves, and then they also back here. But it could be very much the same mold, but they remolded him just a little bit extra, put a little extra wrinklage and detail into the sculpt of the White Ranger. So as far as articulation goes, actually that could be a giveaway actually right there. Well, maybe not. Yeah, I was looking at the Red Ranger's feet to see if they were the same. They're very similar, but I think you get a lot more range of motion out of the Red Ranger than you do the White Ranger as far as the ankle rockers go. And he doesn't go up. He can go back like one click like that. It's about as far as he goes. The Red Ranger goes a little bit more. I'm talking a lot about the Red Ranger, but yeah, see, he can't go all the way around. And the Red Ranger, I'm pretty sure can, because I think I showed that off in the other. His articulation is very different. It doesn't have as much stuff going on. See, he can get his foot a lot flatter. So that's why I'm thinking, yeah, it might be a little bit different mold. And you could do the same thing with this side. Go all the way around. So there is a little bit of difference between the red and white. And of course, he's got double jointed knees, kicks his own butt. He can go out, do the splits. He can kick up, but well, just straight up. I guess that's all you need, right? Like a sitting position. Can't go back at all. He's got thigh articulation. And like you can see right here, he's got double jointed elbows. He's got bicep swivel. He's got wrist articulation. Swivels all the way around. Goes side to side. Both hands. He can bend over and do the crunching motion almost as good as the Red Ranger, maybe about the same as the Red Ranger. Very well articulated there. He can go back and do the limbo, and yeah, almost as good as the Red Ranger also. Both the Red Ranger and this one have belts that actually, they do move, they're not glued down, but they're very tight around the body. The Red Rangers, you can actually push it up over the articulation or pull it down a little bit, but this one is pretty much static, pretty much can't move that. And as far as, we're going to go into his arm articulation here in a second, but his head is on a hinge and swivel joint, or a ball, actually a ball socket with swivel. You swivel all the way around, you look down, you look up, and we'll put on his alternate head in a second. He also comes with two-fisted hands. These are slightly different than what the Gold Ranger had. If you see my Gold Ranger review, there's a little bit extra detail on the Gold Ranger. So there's some ridges right there on the end of the knuckles, but there's extra detail, and these are actually thicker than the Gold Rangers, because the Gold Ranger, I believe, is the youngest, or at least he's younger than Tommy. Now let's go ahead and check out his sword real quick, see if that goes into his hand. It goes in there very well. It's actually very tight grip. All the Power Rangers seem to have very stiff hands and hard to get their weapons in. They don't go in like real easily. You have to some of them you have to kind of work it, especially that Red Ranger, to get a sword in his gun. And man, look at the sword, the way it's holding. Oops. See, that sword comes out, and I can't get those fingers around the bottom of the sword. Maybe with hot water, but I don't think they'll stay. So that one could be a little bit better. This is the only one that comes with only one gripping hand, as far as I know. Yeah, so far, out of the ones that I've opened. And so it's pretty good. Sword wielding is kind of, you can do it like this. It looks good if you're doing side to side with the articulation. But if you have a gun, you definitely want it to go upwards and downwards. It's a lot better. And so far, none of the Rangers have that yet. And I wish the Red Ranger had that. Again, you can see, well, we already did his effect once. But I'm looking to see if there's any other holes to like do anything extra, anything different, but it doesn't look like there is. So it only goes on one way. It goes on like that, and it is very different than the one that comes with the Gold Ranger we talked about before. See the difference? All right, and now let's go ahead and switch his head real quick. His head's pretty hard to come off. Let's see. These civilian heads are very hard to get on too. They're always very tight. So you want to make sure you get that ball socket in the middle, especially with this guy. His neck is actually a pretty loose joint and moves in and out very easily, like this one, or like this. I don't know, but anyway, it goes back and forth real easy. So it took me a minute just to get this head on there. I'm glad that there's no paint under here because it's so tight. You don't have to worry about it scratching any paint off. Again, with the ponytail, you want to be careful because it is a separate piece glued into the head. And they did a pretty good job with the actual paint itself on the head. There's nothing really, just like with, what's his name? The Gold Ranger. There's a little bit of extra skin right there where it's not painted. I don't know if that's intentional or not. Probably not. But for the most part, you know, I mean, it looks pretty good. The main complaint I have is those, as far as paint goes. I might be able to fill those in. I just have to find a gold paint pen or something. And that's about it for Mr. Tommy, actually. I'm looking at this right now, and I'm kind of looking at him like his head looks a little off. I mean, it looks a little small for some reason. It kind of actually, it looks like this was designed originally to have his helmet go over top of his head. If you look at the helmeted head, the helmeted head isn't much bigger. So, yeah, I do believe that this is just maybe, I didn't think I would really notice that before, but I don't know, is Tommy a tall, slender guy? Maybe. He's taller and older and taller than most of the other Rangers, I believe, at least in the first series. I'm trying to get him to stand up so I can look at him. Get a good look for the whole figure all at once. So let's set him next to the Red Ranger, see how tall he is. Because if they share the same body parts, even the torsos, actually from the lower half of the torsos, are supposed to be the same. And there's no way to 100% confirm it unless you rip this thing off. But I'm pretty sure they're really close if they're not. Actually, this guy looks like he might be a little bit taller than Tommy. Yeah, he's way taller than Tommy. Yeah, well, Tommy's in an action stance, actually, but I don't know. I think his head might be a little bit small, a little on the small side. Maybe they corrected it with the new version, with the Green Ranger that comes in the 2-pack. Oh, wait, oh, there's another one. Gold and red, or black and gold, or red. The other Gold Ranger. Not this one, but a different Gold Ranger. I don't know. There's another Tommy coming out that's coming with this head. And hopefully it'll be a little bit bigger. But it does, I do agree, it does look a little bit small. But, yeah, it needs to be maybe like 5% bigger overall. Okay, so that's it for Mr. Gold Ranger. I am not going to do the hand swapping because these are on long pegs and they're very thin and I not want to break them. And I have no intention of posing him with the fists. I'm going to pose him with the sword. I like weapons, so any of my Rangers or any of the guys, I'm always going to be posing them with their accessories. So I'm actually probably going to take that head off too. If I had two of them, well, actually I do have two of them, but if I had another one, I would display him with the helmeted head and then one with this head. And maybe then I would do one of them with fisted hands. All right, so let's move on to, I guess what you call the main event, the new guy, the Beast Morphers Red Ranger, also known as Devon. I did a little bit of research on this one. I believe that this is supposed to have some yellow paint on it. I'm pretty sure, because I know that gun lights up when he's using it on the show. Yellow or green, I forget, but I've seen this. I don't remember this. But then again, I haven't seen episode 1, 2, 7, or 8. I only saw 3, 4, 5, and 6. And he comes with 2 fisted hands, alternate head, gun, sword, this, and oh, okay, so that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess this is an effects piece. I mean, well, it's an effect of some sort, but it looks like a gun. We'll find out very soon. Let me move this out of the way and open him up. Let's see. Hold on. Okay, so I peeled the tape. Here's the picture of the packaging. Beast Morphers Red Ranger. And I'm kind of impressed that they got this out so quick, actually. Him and the Gold Ranger are both from the newest TV show, the newest season, the Beast Morphers. And I believe, I don't know when that aired, when it first started, but there's only 8 episodes so far, so it couldn't have been too long ago. Okay, so it actually came out on March 2nd, according to Wikipedia. And there's 15 episodes so far. I know there's 22 in the first season. Oh, I thought there was going to be. Yeah, some of these haven't aired yet. August 17th. Yeah, so they've only aired 8 episodes, but I guess it started in March. That's why I was confused, because I thought it started earlier. But anyway, so that's what the Red Ranger looks like with civilian clothes on. So we'll check out his head sculpt, see if it looks like him. Here we go. And this is that thing I was talking about a while ago. Do not eat anything. Warning, 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 warning. Warning, warning. Copyright, copyright. Hasbro, Saban, Power Rangers, whatever. That comes in every Wave 2 figure, but none of the Wave 1s. Unless it comes with Lord Zedd. I haven't opened that one yet. So, alright, here we go. Got him out of the package. Put his box to the side. He's got 2 extra fists. He's got... Let's check out this effect piece, because I have not seen this yet. Wow, this is definitely rubber. Very interesting. What does it do? It looks like a gun, right? Yeah. Looks like a gun. Oh, okay. This goes on a sword. Duh. See that big slot? Stick the sword in. I'm probably warping the crap out of it. Hold on. That sword is really in there. There's his gun. There's his sword. Head pops out easier. Now the fists. Actually, these fists do look more like the Gold Rangers. More detail, smaller. Oh, by the way, the people on this show, man, are they skinny. Oh, and he's rubber banded in too. Just like that other guy. Wow, it almost looks like he has the same hand as The Magna Defender. What's going on down here? He's got blackwash on his boots. They'll have boot cut. Wow, these are tight. Sounds like leather when you when you move it around. This one looks it's about the same as the Gold Ranger. There's his, I guess, morphing device. Pretty sure. What is that? I don't know what that is. It's a separate sculpted piece, but it looks like it's glued on. I'm not going to move that around. There's a lot of silver paint. We don't normally see silver paint on a Hasbro figure. Maybe on a Transformer. Wow, these joints are really, really tight. Especially this one. Doesn't want to move. There it goes. Well, he's got double jointed knees. Let's see if he can kick his own butt. Pretty much. Kick his own back. He's got a little bit of movement backwards. Ankle rotation. Let's see about forwards. Not really. A lot like the Right Ranger. And he's got that bottom part of his body. This is like a little bit of rubber on the bottom. It's obviously, it's got to be attached to the midsection somewhere in there. It's glued down or something. Yeah, it's gonna hinder his back. He's not going to be able to do limbo very much. And same with going forward. Yeah, he doesn't get any real forward movement with that ab crunch, but he gets that swivel, and he's got side to side with the hands, just like all the other ones. See about his, he gets like a full 180. That's good. Whoops, there we go. Full 180, that double jointed elbow. His head's pretty loose, very easy to move. Butterfly joints. Can go up. It's like a ratchet, kind of like the Red Ranger, the other Red Ranger. It's a little bit, you gotta push on it. See about this one. Yeah, he can get a full 180 with this one, I think, too. I'm not even moving that other joint all the way. There we go. Yep. Well, pretty close. But that is amazingly good articulation, just like the Gold Ranger, his wave mate, and his show mate. Yeah, this guy is really good as far as articulation, except for this part. The costume, because all of them are like that on down here. They all have kind of, I don't call it a skirt piece, but it's like a, it's the bottom half of his jacket or his costume. He can't move his head backwards at all, though. At all. He can go a little bit forwards. He can even, tilts a little bit this direction. But let's look at that head sculpt. It looks good. No complaints, really. Like this thing, you could probably take it off just like the Gold Ranger. Yep, even easier than the Gold Ranger. It's a lot smaller too. There we go. Now you can see his joints. Ah, yeah, there we go. Now he's got much better articulation too. Let's see if we can get this one all the way up. Just like the other Red Ranger, you're gonna want to. Oh wow. You want to be careful with it. There you go. It's normally better to pull it down than to push it up. If you want to get that full T, you want to spin it all the way around. See, like a regular action figure. There we go. Now he's got that full T going on. The Gold Ranger was much better because he could not only just get him up this side, he could go all the way, he could bend his arms like all the way up, which is amazing. So not nearly as good as the Gold Ranger articulation. Let me show you what I'm talking about, just in case you haven't seen it. See what I mean? He can go all the way. He can only go this much. He can't move his arm up that far. But I took this little thing off too. But that little vest piece looking thing. Alright, so let's try his accessories now that we've seen the articulation and the paint. I'll swap off his head real quick. Put on his civilian head. And there's a lot of just black paint. And got his earrings painted in. I didn't even know he wore earrings. Never really thought about it. Again, this side, well, actually it's not. There's a little bit of brown where it's not painted all the way with the hair. Same with on this side behind his ear. They seem to do that in all of them now. And look at his face. I don't know to the naked eye or what I'm looking at and what the brightness of the screen here. I think the brightness of the screen actually brings out the sculpt and the actual likeness, because I wasn't seeing that. So yeah, it looks a lot like him. Maybe not flawless, but very close. That's a good likeness. I like it. It's very good. And I have not seen any of these that really have that bad of a paint job either. And as I'm saying that, I'm looking at his eyebrow, his left eyebrow. Doesn't seem to be painted all the way. It seems like there's more sculpt to it than actual paint. But they're all relatively good. There hasn't been, like, if I would have not found this one and I would have bought the other one, the next one that I saw, I would have bought that too, because all of them were good enough. He's a little wobbly right there. But yeah, so anyway, so this figure's got a lot of silver paint, so you want to be careful with it, because the silver paint will probably come off easily. Let's try his effects piece real quick. Here's his sword. Some details on the sword. Not painted at all on this side. I'm not sure if that's probably right, I guess. Hopefully we'll give him benefit of the doubt since I don't know. And there we go. Now, one of the things in this particular series is digital. Like all these digital things. And like the Blue Ranger's girlfriend is actually, in a way, she's the bad guy, but she's a good guy, but she's in like a coma. And they took her digital scan and made her into the bad guy. And with some kind of thing, she can move around, go places, do things, and she's a bad guy. And so, like, the main bad guy, he's like digital. They're trying to get him into a body so he can take over the earth or whatever. But, like I showed in the Gold Ranger thing. Now, I'll look for a picture of this gun real quick. But this gun, I'm pretty sure all those big, heavy round spots should have like gold or should have like yellow or green. He uses this gun mostly when he's in a Zord. He asks for his gun while he's in the Zord, then he shoots it, and then it shoots out of the Zord itself, either out of the sword or out of the Zord's eyes or whatever. Alright, so let's look at his hands real quick, because I was saying they look like Magna Defender's hands. Okay. So there's that joint right there. It's a lot easier to see when you don't have that thing on him, that harness thing. Alright, Magna Defender, where are you? So here's Magna Defender's hands. He's got a trigger finger. Now let's see these hands. The gloves are different, but he does have a trigger finger, so that might be a little bit different. But look at the Magna Defenders. I don't have his other hand on there, but his other hand, I'll show you what that looks like real quick. I got it right here, actually. Okay, well, it's not the same, because that's actually his right hand right there. And his other hand that is open like that is actually on the other side. So, again, it's very similar, but then again, I just now noticed that he's got the same Power Ranger lines across his knuckles, and I know on the other one, pretty sure that it have this big padding thing, but very close. Alright, and one other thing, let's see if he has the exact same fist as the Gold Ranger. Let's pull that out real fast. Find it. Again. There it is. Here's his fist, the Gold Ranger's fist. And let's see the Red Ranger's fist side by side. Not there. Yeah, I think it is. It looks exactly the same, exact same mold, but this one's painted gold and this one's a red. And they look to be about the same size too. So yeah, I think those are the same. It's just the gold makes the details stand out more. But or if they're not, I'm pretty sure they are. They look really, really close to identical. It's just brought out a lot more with the gold. Alright, so even though I did this differently, it still came out to be about 40 minutes. I guess I just can't do one with... wait, I didn't try his weapons. It's the only thing we haven't done yet. So that fits well in this hand, because his other hands are fisted, so obviously he can't hold this in another hand. You can try it real fast in the other hand, but see, obviously nothing to hold on to. So that's kind of weird that they gave him this hand. Why has he got such a weird open hand? Is he like whoosh, like throwing fireballs or something? I don't remember him doing that. And here we go. That looks good as far as the hand and the trigger. Looks pretty good. I forget what this gun is called, but it has a name. So the gun that I see that Hasbro is making has some silver paint on the gun. I can't find a picture of him actually using the gun in the show. Oh wait, it's a sword. But overall, I think if Hasbro could, I wish they could, I hope they can, find a way to make this softer so you can get more movement out of the ab joint, out of the crunch, because it doesn't really do a whole lot because of those. You need to make it, I mean, that joint is almost useless. And the Gold Ranger isn't as bad with that joint. He can still, well, that was actually his, yeah, but I mean, he can move a little bit with it, but he can't move anywhere near as good as the Dino Charge Red Ranger. He gets a lot more motion out of that joint. Alright, so there's another picture of that gun. Here's his blaster right here. And the thing on his wrist is his communicator.
Devon, I sent crews to your location. Great.
So yeah, I could definitely use just a little bit more paint somewhere here and there, I guess. But overall, he's got a lot of silver paint. And I'm just now noticing those red plugs in his double jointed elbows. Kind of surprised they're not painted. They could have done that. But other than that, I mean, the likeness is there. Likeness, it looks a lot like him. I don't know. For some reason, I don't know. When I look at it through here with the bright light, I see it. But without the bright light, I'm like, is that really... It doesn't remind me of him too much. But as I showed you in the picture, I guess it looks like him. So, yeah. And other than the articulation in the ab joints, could be better. But overall, it's a pretty good figure. This is, I think, is when they're swinging these swords. All the Rangers in this series have these swords. They all look pretty much the same, and they all have this painting on them. They're all blue, and they're all blue, I think, on here too. And when they're swinging them real fast and hitting metal objects, it goes, sparks. I think maybe that's what this effect piece is. So, because I was just watching them hit everything, and they're swinging them like crazy, hitting all sorts of stuff, and sparks everywhere. So maybe that's what that is. All right, so that's my review of Devon, the Red Ranger from Beast Morphers Power Rangers, and Tommy from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And my next review will be Lord Zedd with the Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks again for watching. And I might show another toy hunt of me finding the Pink Ranger. And maybe, I don't know. But one or the other. I'll see you guys on the next video.